Hello and welcome to the series of the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code exam preparation. In this series, we are going to first see the read-throughs of the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code 2016. First, we are going to look into Part 2, which deals with insolvency resolution and liquidation for corporate person. Chapter 1, Preliminary. This part says with regard only to what I mean is this section says only with regard to this part, that is insolvency resolution and liquidation for corporate personals, the application of this part. Section 4 reads 1. This part shall apply to matters relating to the insolvency and liquidation of corporate debtors where the minimum amount of the default is 1 lakh rupees. And provided the central government may by notification specify the minimum amount of default or higher value which shall not be more than 1 crore rupees. So, the applicability of this part with regard to insolvency resolution and liquidation for corporate persons, the minimum amount of default should be 1 lakh. And the next section 5 deals with definitions, which we will look into after while we going through. When we go through the provisions and with regard to the parts which defines, we can look into the definition for our easy understanding. In section 5, there are in total 28 definitions, and next we are going to see chapter 2, corporate insolvency resolution process. First, we are going to see as to who can initiate a corporate insolvency resolution process. This says who can initiate and commence the process of corporate insolvency resolution process. Section 6 reads, persons who may initiate corporate insolvency resolution process. Where any corporate debtor commits a default, a financial creditor, an operational creditor, or the corporate debtor itself may initiate corporate insolvency resolution process in respect of such corporate debtor in the manner as provided under this chapter. So from this section we can understand that a corporate insolvency resolution process can be initiated by 3 persons. One is a financial creditor, second is an operational creditor, and the third is a corporate debtor. The person itself may initiate a corporate insolvency resolution process in respect of such corporate debt in a manner that is provided in this chapter, that is chapter 2. Before going further into the other sections, we must first understand what is financial creditor and what is an operational creditor, for which we have to look into the definitions given under section 5. The definition with regard to financial creditor is given in section 5 subclause 7. Financial creditor reads means any person to whom a financial debt is owned and includes a person to whom such debt has been legally assigned or transferred to. In here we have to note the points that a financial creditor is a person to whom a financial debt is owed. So the person who is the owner of the financial debt, so to the a person to whom the amount is to be given, and includes a person to whom such debt has been legally assigned or transferred. So the person to whom that financial debt which has been earlier stated has been assigned or transferred is also a person known as the financial creditor. He steps into the shoes of the financial creditor. So here we have to see that the section reads, the financial creditor means any person to whom a financial debt is owed. So now we have to see what is a financial debt. Subclause 8 explains about financial debt. A subclause 8, financial debt means a debt along with interest, if any, which is dispersed against the consideration for the time value of money and includes. Here it says that the debt along with interest, if any, it does not necessarily hold an interest, but a financial debt is a debt, if any, along with interest, if any, which is dispersed against the consideration. Here the consideration for time value of money. The consideration is the time value of the money. The time which accrues is the consideration and includes the following, which is given from subclause A to subclause I, which we will understand by reading through. First A, money borrowed against the payment of interest, where a money has been borrowed against the payment of interest. Second B, any amount raised by acceptance under any acceptance credit facility or its dematerialized equivalent. So now the amount raised by acceptance under acceptance credit facility, any credit facility held like in that of banks, and C, any amount raised pursuant to any note purchase facility or the issue of bonds, notes, debentures, loan stock or any similar instrument. So these also comes under the financial debt. And D, the amount of any liability in respect of any lease, hire purchase contract which is deemed as a finance or capital lease under the Indian accounting standard or such other accounting standard as may be prescribed. Here the liability which arises from the lease or hire purchase contract which is deemed as a finance or capital lease under the Indian accounting standards are considered as a financial debt. E, its receivables sold or discounted other than any receivables sold on non-recourse basis. Here it has been stated that receivables sold or discounted other than any receivables sold on non-recourse basis. Now we have to see what is non-recourse basis. By the dictionary meaning, a non-recourse basis is the sale of an asset in which the buyer assumes the risk of an asset being defective. It also comes in the on debt which is being transferred. Suppose, for example, a lender who has a given certain amount to a certain person, and in some cases, the said debt will be transferred to some other person, and he purchases that a debt due to the lender for a sum also assuming the risk of non-payment by the borrower. So, a non-recourse basis is something that the purchaser purchases including the risk of being defective, knowing that there is a risk of the asset being defective. So those kind of receivables does not come under a financial debt. So if for those who do not know what is receivables, receivables generally means the debt that is due to certain persons, firms or any persons for the goods supplied or any other form of transaction. A receivable something that is due to be receivable, to be received. So going further, F, any amount raised under any other transaction including any forward sale or purchase agreement having the commercial effect of a borrowing. So debts which has a commercial effect of a borrowing also comes within the definition of a financial debt. G, any derivative transaction. So before that, this clause F, there is an amendment in the year 2018. Let me read through the amendment for you. There is an explanation which has been inserted by the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code Second Amendment Act 2018, 26 of 2018, dated 17/8/2018, with effect from 6/6/2018. The explanation reads, for the purpose of this subclause, that is subclause F, 1. Any amount arised from an allotee under a real estate project shall be deemed to be an amount having the commercial effect of a borrowing. So allotee, a person for whom an allotment is made in a real estate project and he has made certain amounts of money. In that case also he comes under the definition under the subclause referring that amount to commercial effect of a borrowing. So it is also a financial debt. And then a second subclause to the explanation, the expressions allotee and a real estate project shall have the same meanings respectively assigned to them in clauses D and ZN of section 2 of the Real Estate Regulation and Development Act 2016. So these are the two explanations inserted by the amendment of 2018. So let us also take a quick look at the definition in the Real Estate Regulation Development Act 2016 also with regard to allotment, which is given in clause D, that is definition section 2. As you are aware that definitions are always given in all the acts. In this act it is under section 2, and here subclause D reads allottee. Allottee in relation to a real estate project means a person to whom a plot, apartment or building, as the case may be, may be or has been allotted or sold, whether as a freehold or leasehold, or otherwise transferred by the promoter, or and includes the person who subsequently acquires such allotment through sale, transfer or otherwise, but it does not include a person to whom such plot, apartment, building, as the case may be, is given on rent. So now further we are going to also see the definition of real estate projects, which is given in subclause ZN. So here Z and N. A real estate project means the development of building or a building consisting of apartments, or converting an existing building or a part thereof into an apartment, or the development of the land into plots or apartments, as the case may be, for the purpose of selling all or any of the said apartments or plots or building, as the case may be, and includes the common areas, the development works, all improvements and structures thereon, and all easement rights and appurtenance belonging thereto. So these are the definition of allotment and a real estate project. So for the purpose, the allotment in a real estate project also comes under the effect of a commercial effect of borrowing, and is also a financial debt. So now continuing on to clause G. Any derivative transaction entered into in connection with protection against or benefit from fluctuations in any rate or price, and for calculating the value of any derivative transaction, only in the market value of such transaction shall be taken into account. So to understand further, we must know what is a derivative. A derivative is a financial securities whose value or price is derived from an underlying asset or group of assets, which is usually such as stocks, bonds, commodities and currencies, etc. So only the market value of such transaction to be taken into account in deciding the financial debt. And next is H. Any counter indemnity obligation in respect of a guarantee, indemnity, bond, documentary letter of credit, or any other instrument issued by a bank or financial institution. These are also comes under financial debt. The amount of any liability in respect of any guarantee or other indemnity for any of the items referred in subclause A to H of this clause has been given. Also comes under the financial debt. And that is all for this video. Let us continue in the next video with the definitions and details of operational creditor. Thank you.